Hey folks, welcome back to the shop. Next on the list of things to do. Oh, by the way, the electric is 99% done. There's only 2 outlets left to run. These guys are killing it, by the way. There's 2 outlets left to run, and those are the ones that are specifically for the dust collector because I want that completely separate from everything else. Oh, bonus, they're putting in a 220 outlet for me. None of my tools are 220, but I do have a welder. And they thought enough ahead to go ahead and put a 220 outlet in so that I can run my welder, not in here, no, wood. Be gone in no time. So that I can run it outside. You know, you've seen my truck. It's probably going to need some welding. So they're going to put that in as well. But that's not what we're here to talk about today, folks. I told you all of that so that I could tell you this. This table is the next thing on the list of things that need to get ready so that my shop becomes operable. Now the table is operable as it sits, but I threw it together very hastily. I used 2x4s from a lumber mill, true 2x4, but they were rough, and I think the base is okay the way it's built. What I want to do is make sure the top, the structure of the top is flat, which I think I did, but I'm going to double check it. This is a melamine top because it was the cheapest thing there was at the time. And I like the melamine surface. It's a great surface for a workbench because whatever you get on there, you can peel it right off. I mean, you guys have seen my videos. I have blue paint, I have stain, I have finish, I have places where I've drilled through the top of it. I actually welded on this table. Don't recommend that, but I've welded on this table. So there's burn marks and everything else in it. And I want to put a little bit beefier top on this. And I have some stuff. You may have seen it in one of my past videos. It was laying on the floor in the corner. I'll show you that when that time comes. But I've already started cleaning this off. Golly Moses, you ought to have seen it before I started. Oof, the May, what a mess. Anyway, I'm going to finish cleaning this off. And then we'll start taking this apart. And I'll explain the base and how I built it. And it's not rocket science because I wasn't a rocket scientist. But it's just thrown together with 2x4s and screws, and the top to me is what's the most important. So I'm going to finish cleaning this off, and then I'll bring you in whenever I'm ready to start ripping things apart. Oh, I can't take the, oh, here's a funny thing. I need to use my work table to build my new work table. Well, hey, I'm making it up as I go. So let's get this cleaned off first, and then we can figure out what we're doing from there. Okay. I think the goal here is not to kill myself getting these things down. That's it. I think it's a pretty easy goal. Can I not kill myself getting these things down? Ugh. Oh, wait. Oh, nope. Don't want to go through the roof. Come on now. What's that? That's using your head. Oh, what am I hitting? Oh boy. This seemed like a good idea when I started it. Okay, now we're cooking. Not really. That's going to slam like a trailer screen door. Oh, that's a precarious position. Okay. Whew, mercy. One. Holy cow. Ooh, and it's filthy. And I think it's been filthy since the day I got it. I have 2 pieces of this. Let me explain to you what this is. Let me get you in here so you can see it. Okay, here's what we got. I got this a couple of 3 years ago. No, 2 years ago. I got it some time ago. I talked about, that's a doggy barking. I talked about the school that closed, and I went and I got some wood and some shelves. Well, I found this, I'm going to say, in the art department. This was a countertop that ran, oh boy, 16 feet long or so. And it was this wide. And I got two of them. And I'm going to put it together. And what it is it's several little, let's say 3/4 inch strips laminated together. How thick is this thing? Oh boy, quit making fun of me. 1.25 inches thick. Okay. So 1.25 inches thick. I don't know what the wood is, but it's definitely hard. Not hardwood like a hardwood, but I mean, it's not pine. It's not soft. It's not going to crumble. So I have two of these. I'm going to make sure that they're square. I'm not going to do a whole lot to the top. I'm going to sand it, but I'm not running it through a planer, and my planer is not even put together. I was looking for parts for it the other day, and I don't know where they're at. They're in a box. So for right now, so this has a little notch cut out of it. Ooh, right there. Oh, splinter. Oh, you know you're back in the wood shop when you got a splinter. This piece here, 17 inches. So I may come up a smidgen narrow by 1 inch or 2. And the thing is I don't care. That's fine. So my next job is to get these ends squared up. That notch, though, is that going to be an issue? I need my cheater's tape measure, because that don't have the feet marked out, and I don't do math. All right. Oh, yeah, we're golden. Okay. So the notch is over 6 feet away. So I'm going to start by squaring that end up, measure down 5 feet, square this end up, and then get the other one down without killing myself and do the same thing. So that's next on the agenda. So here's the funny thing. You know, this whole filming for YouTube makes every project 4 or 5 hours longer than what it needs to be. Case in point, I've already cut that side to square it up. I spent 10 minutes explaining how to set it up, yada, 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 and I forgot to hit the record button. So we're gonna do that now. I'll just give you a quick rundown. Since I know that's squared up, since I know I want this 5 feet, we're gonna come down and mark it with my pencil, because what else would you mark it with? That's my 5 foot mark. I have this jumbo square here. Essentially what I'm gonna do, oh my, is I have a level that is going to act as my straight edge. And this thing's built, I mean, I wish they made levels like this. This is a Halls, Hall''S forged level. I would love to know when this thing is made, because it is solid. I mean, it's a great level. Got this at a yard sale, folks. You got to go to yard sales. You got to. So on my saw, it's 1 3/8 inches from the 0 mark to the edge of the runner thing, flat piece on the bottom. I don't know what it is. I'm just going to measure over 1 3/8 inches, clamp this down. That's my straight edge. Run the saw against that. I have a perfectly straight edge, or at least as perfect as I need it to be. So I'm going to do that now. Get the other one down. Do the same thing to it, and then we'll figure out how we're going to put these together. That's what I got to figure out. All right, I'll bring you back in whenever I'm done with that. Just keep the flat edge of your saw up against the flat edge of your roller. This is going to be heavy. I might drop it. Don't laugh if I do. Or laugh, I don't care. I'm gonna put it up here. Okay, got them cut, both to 5 feet. I don't know what the width is, and to be honest with you, I don't care. Whatever comes out, it comes out. But this one has a little bit of a weeble wobble, and it will fall down. Classic toys. Anyway, I'm sure that the school that I got this in was probably, what do you want to say, in use. Yeah, in use. Educating people for probably close to 50 years, I would say. So, if not more. So a little bit of warp's okay. I'm sure this piece saw a lot of abuse. This says 96 K. I don't know what it says. This piece will not fit through my planer, and as I said, my planer is not set up, and I don't want to take the time to set it up. There, I said it. I'm not lying. It's one of those things that when I need it, I'll put it together. It'll be fine. So I'm going to get this out of the way, and then I'll bring you in and we'll take this top off. Oh, golly Moses, 14,000 pounds. Oh. If I remember correctly, I pocket hole screwed that top to that base. And so if I can just get to the pocket holes, take that piece off, then we'll be good to go. What I need to do is get that top off, quit looking at my candy bar, and get the next one put on. Okay, so I'm under it now. It's kind of hard to tell because how dirty that is, but you can see the pocket holes up through there. That's what I got to take off. They're all the way around. Ooh, that's funky. Let's do it that way. So I'm going to unscrew those, and we'll get this top off of here. Oh, mercy. This used to be easier when I was younger. Hoping that I don't have to move all this junk. If I can get my big fat head under there, why, then we'll be just fine. Maybe I can sit. Timber. Oh, that was too easy. Oh, that hurts. Oh, okay. What am I laying on? Oh, it's all bad. Oh, it's all bad. Ow. Okay. What is that? Feels like a clamp. Woo. I don't normally go this direction. Okay, that's as far as I'm going to get that way. Seemed like a good idea until I started doing it. Oh, excuse me. All right, I think we're ready to get this top off of here. Here's the thing, every flat surface in this shop is becoming a workbench, including my saw. All right. I don't know where to put this because I'm going to save on this because I got plans for this. But for now, let's just get it out of here. Oh, mercy. How about over there? What an ugly... I shimmed it. All right. Oh. So now you can kind of see what we got going on here. My 4 uprights lined with... That might be actually 1 inch. I don't know. But it's not thick enough, which is why I put this on. Screws going through this into this upright. Same here. Apparently I was having problems with some flatness on that melamine because I jimmed. It seems to me at one point I made sure that this top was perfect. Oh, that's pocketable. Made sure this was perfectly flat. And when I say flat, what I'm worried about is from this side to this side and this side to this side. I don't care if the whole thing goes that way or that way. I don't want it to go that way, you know, or that way. You understand what I'm trying to say? I don't, and I'm the one saying it. So that's my basic construction. It's pretty solid. I'm glad that I put it on wheels because I was never going to get to that side. I'm going to take the rest of the pocket holes out. We'll get our new pieces up on top and see what we need to do to make them work. There is a giant split right there. Ooh. Home Depot lumber. Okay, now with the top off, I want to show you what I'm talking about here. See how rough? I just bought rough cut lumber and started throwing it together. I didn't clean it up or anything. Normally it's not a problem. See, this is the same way. Over there, oh, yeah, over there, let me see if I can get you in there. You can see that's rough and splintery and just in general not happy. So before I go putting the top on, I'm just going to get my sander and just do a quick sand on this thing. I can see that down there. Look at that board down there. It's not even close to level. We're gonna go have a look at that. That's probably why them shims were there. All right, I'm gonna do that first. So you probably can't see the bubble. How about now? Can you see it now? You can see it a little bit. That is within level. I won't say perfect, but it's close. Now we're gonna throw it on that one down there and see how bad it is. So it must have had been an optical illusion. Now this side does need to come up. If I'm wanting it to be perfect, I'm going to say 1/8 of an inch, which is about the shims that I had in there. So I don't know if I want to unscrew that and do it that way or what we want to do. I'll figure it out. I'll get it flattened out before we're ready to put the top on. That escalated quickly. Just a simple change of the top. Nope, not in my world, folks. Not in my world. Here's the deal. The guy that built this must have been in a hurry, or must not have known what he was doing, or was building it on an unlevel floor, which is very possible. But here's the deal. This particular upright right there, well, that bad boy is 34 1/4. That one is 34 5/8. That one is 34 1/2. And I don't even know what that one is. And when I put this together, I brought all my wood to, flush with the top. I do hereby see the error in my ways. I wasn't really wanting to rebuild, or from scratch anyway, a new bench, but it's looking like I have to. So I need to at least get the uprights all the same height. This floor is for all intents and purposes level. I say for all intents and purposes because it's level to the structure. The structure was leveled when they put it in. So it's pretty level. What I'm trying to say here, folks, is that if I cut these all the same height, I can feel pretty comfortable that I'm going to be all right. This one down here that I said was off, it was off because everything's off. And I don't want it off. I want on. So I'm going to unfortunately take the rest of this apart, at least to where I can get these uprights off, get them all cut to the same height, and then start putting back together again. Billionaire businessman John Catsimatidis, Sunday morning at 9, right here on Nights in Gold. Get ready for a night of hockey that'll rock your socks off. Join the Erie Otters on Saturday, November 18th. Here's how I got built this. That's not even attached. Okay, I measured all these. The shortest one is 34 1/4. I'm going to cut them all to 34 1/4. I need to do this in a hurry because the skies are about to open up and I ain't getting this dust all inside my shop. Okay, got my pieces cut. They're all the same. That is going to greatly help putting this back together in some kind of an, organized manner. And then maybe we'll end up with a workbench here. Remember at the beginning of this when I said I just wanted to change the top? You remember that? Bob, you remember that? I don't either. I don't either, because it became this big nightmare. But that's where we're at. I'm going to run over these with a sander, and then we'll start forming the top. And, I don't know. Who knows? That's the plan. Just trying to figure out the best way how I want to go about, doing this. Because I don't want to make the same mistakes I made on the first one. Tell me, folks, there was a bunch of them. I think what I'm going to do is build a frame and then bring in my legs that you can't see because they're over there and get them square to the top and attached. And then I'll worry about that piece of junk because, again, I don't care. And then once the top frame is built and once that's all put together, I can bring over the top. You remember the top, right? And then we'll get that taken care of. Maybe. All right, I got to get some stuff. I got to build a frame. That's what I'm going to do. I have a feeling poor tabletops or the poor table saw is going to become my workbench. Because I ain't got no place else to work. And I'm too old to be getting up and down on the floor. There, I said it. Okay? It's the truth. All right, here's what we got. My table saw is flat, so that's why I'm doing this. That and I don't have a workbench to work on. So these two are the original, I call them stringers, cross pieces, whatever you want to call them. I did so not want to use this 1x pine on the ends. So I went to scourging around a little bit and I walked behind the shed over there and found a 2x4. And you can tell because it's filthy. Oh, mud. That's okay. That'll come out. Those are going to go right in there. And that's going to give me a little bit better, thang. Now, you can't see it, but there's a lip here of probably about 3/16. And I don't care. Oh, but what about the, no, just pull back on the reins a little bit. If you remember, I said I ran this one through the joiner to get it flat, okay? So the bottom doesn't matter. This is the bottom of the top base. Base, bottom, top. It's upside down, okay? What I'm worried about is this. Is this flat right here and here? That's what I'm worried about. I love the smell of 2x4s in the afternoon. Smells like cheap lumber. I have two giant monster screws. I might as well use them here. Right? Right. Here's some longer ones. I'm going to save on the longer ones for this kind of stuff. I want my top to be solid, so I guess we'll just start putting this thing together. These are drywall screws. And listen, folks, I don't do a whole lot of drywalling, but why in the world would you need a drywall screw that long? Call me crazy. Everybody else does. Oh, wrong way. I'm going to do the same thing over there. But that's basically how I'm going to build the whole top, the whole box. Basically, that's what I'm doing. I'm building the box. Pay no attention to that. That'll be fine, I'm sure. I'm not sure, but it is what I got. So that screw's jacked. We need to. That's a little bit better. So I'll get the 2x on that side. I'm going to go ahead and finish building this. We'll start getting legs on it. stuff like that. Game plan. Okay, we got a pretty decent base going. It's not a base, it's a top, remember? Remember when this was just a matter of putting a new top on this? Folks, I'm into this for a couple hours now, okay? But the legs, again, tabletop's flat. This is flat. Now, what this does is it lets me square everything up. So I got this cat daddy. And I'm dealing with lumber that may or may not be straight. So keep that in mind. We're just looking for close. And that's close. Oh. Oh. Well, let me get this guy. Okay. That's where I like it. What kind of screws am I going to use here? Because I ain't running out of really, really long ones. Oh, here's two. Let's use them. I like to bring one in from this way too to give it some of that, you know what I'm saying? So I think what I'm going to do is cattywomp. You can't see my fingers. I'm showing you, like, I'm going to cattywampus them this way, and then I'm going to run one in from this opposite side over here in between them. That's what we're going to do. Just shh, hush now. What if? You know how many great inventions were made simply by saying what if? I mean, I can't think of any off the top of my head, don't get me wrong. The plan is I have no way to check for square now, so it must be square. Which it's not. That is. So we need to that is square that way. Remember, I might not be working with straight lumber. And that is. All right, I'm going to run a screw in it and see what happens. Golly Moses. Okay, well, we can make it square now. Perfect. That was my plan all along. No, not really. That's not horrible. All right. I'm going to go ahead and get the legs thrown on now that you've seen how bad I can mess it up. And then we're ready to put, I don't know what we're ready to do after that. I'm just going to put the legs on now. Okay. The top is pretty much good to go. The legs are all in. All my cross pieces are in. Everything is flat. The legs are square-ish. Like I said, I'm dealing with rough cut lumber and pallet wood that I didn't prepare before I built this the first time. And guess what? Ain't preparing it this time either. Now I got to put this on. This is the bottom shelf. And I'm going to change the placement a little bit on it, maybe by an inch or two, get it a little bit closer to the bottom, because it just didn't make no sense having it that high up. So I have some clamps in place. I've measured down 5 inches. That doesn't matter to you, but I'm telling you anyway. And I'm going to try and go ahead and get this thing fit into place. Hopefully these 3 clamps will hold it until I can get some screws running it. I swear, I don't know who built this thing, but what's the hold up here? They did a horrible job. Why am I stuck? What am I stuck? Ay, ay, ay. Oh, okay. Well, that makes perfectly good sense then. Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay. That is about where that's going to live. I'm going to get these two first because they seem to be closer to being where they're supposed to be. So I'll go ahead and get this on. We'll flip it over and I'll show you what we got. Okay, here's where we're at. Obviously, it's back on the floor. Thank you to my wife. She came home just in time. It is 10 to 6. That clock's right. It said the clock on the wall says 6 o'clock. And I got to eat dinner. And I'm going to put the rest of this off till tomorrow. That's the plan. I am back to a point now where this video started. I'm ready to put a top on. Huh, imagine that. That was only 6 hours ago. So I'm going to shut her down for tonight. I'll see you in the morning. Okay, folks. Truth being told, it's probably 4 days later, maybe a week. I don't remember. It's after Thanksgiving. I am ready to put the top on this now, if you remember right. But here's my problem. One of these pieces that I have is like a rainbow, and that's this piece right here. This may be a trick for you. It may not be a trick for you. This is an old floor sanding trick that we used to use when I did hardwood floors. And that is when you would get a floor that had a bow to it, you would run a single saw, a circular saw blade through it, and it would allow it to sit flat. So that's my plan here. If this was a piece of fine furniture, obviously I wouldn't be doing this, but I just need this to lay flat. So I'm going to start with one cut right up the center. I'm not cutting it in half. Okay, that's not what I'm looking to do here. I'm probably going to take about 3/4 of a swipe, 3/4 of the thickness, and see if I can get it to lay down flat. If so, great. If not, I'll move over a little bit from center, cut another one, and then see if I can get it to lay flat. Sometimes it just takes one just to give it room to close up. Sometimes it's a couple. But I got to set this height, because otherwise I will cut it in half and I'll be crying and you guys will be laughing at me. And I don't have a straight edge long enough for this, so someone gave me some Brazilian cherry flooring. Holy moly. And I gave the old eyeball test and it's good and straight, so that's going to be my straight edge. I'm just going to shoot right up the middle there. It's the cheapest saw with the cheapest saw blade. Holy cow. Well, now I've made a really nice mess, so I'm going to go ahead and clean this up. And we'll put some weight on it and see if it closes down. I'll bring you back in once I get this. Man, there's dust everywhere. Let me get this cleaned up. So what I've done before I start running screws down in this is I just threw a couple clamps on it, see if it would clamp flat. Now up here you can see the issue. It's a rainbow. Down here, that thing's it's solidly flat. It's not going to go anywhere. That tells me that I can go ahead and get this in place and get it screwed down. Now, the other thing I might want to do, since I have this big split down the center of it now, is I'll just flip this over and put that to the bottom. It'll work the same way. Once you start running screws in it, it'll draw itself down. I wanted to keep this side up because it was nicer, but that's okay. It don't matter. I have a sander. We can fix that. So now I'll just get that screwed down. Okay, what I've done is I've marked the middle of my base here and here. That way I can just slide this up into place. When if it's in the middle, it's in the middle. If it's off 1/8 of an inch, I don't care. I have about 4.5 inch overhang on the ends. And probably about the same here. No, not even close. Like I said, it's about 3 3/4. So I am going to drill this before I start screwing it down. I'm going to start closest to the middle of this piece, one on each side, just to draw it down, and then we'll go from there. This has a giant crack in it, so that should be exciting. Now all I got to do is find out I see my drill. I just got to get my drill bits. They're over there. So I think what I'm going to do is just drill through this top, not into the wood, or not into the base, I should say. And hopefully it draws down nice. Somewhere about here is where I'm going to run the first one. Boy, that does not look straight at all. Come in a little bit. Actually, I might have told you wrong. I might have steered you wrong on this, folks. And I said I'd never do that. So it's purely by accident. I think you might be better off starting with the outside. Tell you what, I'll find out and then I'll let you know. If you remember that big crazy wood rack that I had up north, this is all the screws that were holding it in. I went ahead and recycled because this ain't getting no cheaper. Loving it. Absolutely loving it. Okay, that's a good thing. I like it. It's a good solid tabletop. I'm going to go ahead and drill the rest of these out, get them screwed into place. We'll bring the next piece in and get that thing hammered down. It's nice and flat. Ain't got to play no games with that one. Hopefully. Okay, tabletop is on. It's screwed on with 4.5-inch screws. It ain't going nowhere. The bow came out of it. It's beautiful. They match up. I was going to biscuit joint this together, and they match up perfectly. But it needs a good solid testing. And so what do you do when it needs a good solid testing? You get your shop testers to come test it. I got two very special shop testers today. Who's first in line? Me. First, they both said me. Who are you?
Xander.
Well, don't tell me, tell them.
I'm Xander, and I'm going to help Papa today.
All right, now scooch over.
Zoe, and I'm going to help Papa today.
Yeah, okay. So what's the best way you think to test this? Jump up and down on it. There you go.
Good.
All right. Tester seal of approval. All right. So, folks, the next time you see this, it'll be cleaned up, sanded, and done. All right, folks. I'll get back to you here in just a little bit. I told you next time I'd see you, this would be sanded. It's not. I don't know what kind of finish they used on this, but holy moly, it's brutal. And I don't have a real heavy paper for my random orbit sander. And my wife, God bless her, she said, get Bronco Billy out. I hate this sander. I told you I'd tell you the story of this sander. Back when I used to do hardwood floors, we had this particular sander. And this is what we used to finish, not the whole floor, just where it's the handheld machine. It's for, the edger is what it's called. And so to take the swirl marks out from the edger, we use this. Not this particular one because it's horrible. One like it that wasn't horrible. This thing, if you don't have the pressure just right, it's going to come out from under you. And I said, I'm going to document this because nobody's going to believe this. Wasn't ready for a 60 grit yet. Okay, folks, there it is. I sanded on this thing for probably 2 or 3 hours. Various grits. The highest grit that I have is a 36. And that got the finish off, kind of, sort of. Moved to a 60. Finished it with an 80 grit, which to me, for a workbench, might be overkill, but okay. This is the color it's going to be. I cannot get any more of the color out. And you know what? It's good enough, because the important thing to me is that this seam matches, and it does. It's nice and flat. What I'm going to do from here, and I'm not going to bother filming it because it's finishing, I'm probably going to put at least 3 coats of a water-based poly on this. I'm not a big fan of water-based poly, but it gives you a good hard finish. So I appreciate you folks watching. I'm going to try and sneak in one more video before Christmas, but if you talk to any pastor, they're going to tell you they just ain't got the time during Christmas. I don't know if it's going to be a build video or a shop video. I'm going to try and get one more thing out before Christmas. In the meantime, I'm going to throw a few coats of poly on this, and we're going to call her done, and then I can have someplace to work. In the meantime, folks, I'll see you on the next one. God bless you.